Welcome back. My name is Ajlin, and today I'm your virtual teacher. Our topic is Summer in the City. Today you will be listening to some texts, you will be doing a research, the city of your choice, and in the end we will also be putting together some dialogues. For the lesson today, you need a pen or a pencil, a notebook, internet access, and of course you can stop the recording anytime you like. So far, we have learned about great achievements. Nikola Tesla's inventions, landing on the moon, Mount Everest. But achievements need not to be of some world importance. They can also be realized on a smaller scale. They can be personal achievements. This lesson will give you ideas on how to be creative, how to create your own great achievement. It seems that summer holidays are at our door. And always at this time of the year, we ask ourselves that eternal question, what should we do this summer? Where should we go? And should we perhaps stay in the city? It seems that this summer will be the summer in the city. But Croatia has some beautiful cities. And each city, village, or hamlet is beautiful and has its own charms. This lesson today will try to encourage you to spend the summer in the city. So let's start. So you guessed well, this lesson is going to be about Split. But don't worry, we won't be talking about fantastic, magnificent buildings that you can see in Split. This is going to be a bit different. We're going to talk about Split as seen through the eyes of its citizens. The most important one being Emperor Diocletian. Bishop Gregory of Nine fought here for the introduction of Croatian language in churches. The famous writer Marko Marulić wrote his Judita here. And we're going to meet two local guides, Hrvoje and Lea, who are going to reveal some unusual facts about Split. Here you can see Emperor Diocletian. And if you were able to ask him one question, what would that question be? The question that's been puzzling me for a long time is that one of him and his cabbage. So, what is the story with you and the cabbage? That's what I asked him. And let's hear what he had to say.
Ah, that story. You know that I abdicated in 305 and decided to spend my last years in my beautiful palace in the most amazing place in the world. I spent 10 years building it. Not only did I go to Egypt to bring magnificent columns, but I also brought sphinxes and engaged the best architects to work on it. Hardly had I started to relax and grow my cabbage, when they asked me to return to the throne. Of course, I turned them down. Had they known which satisfaction this cabbage gave to me, they would have never asked me to do that.
Another important person for the city of Split was Bishop Gregory of Nyssa. So I asked him the question that most people ask: why do people touch your golden toe? Let's hear what he answered.
Yes, my golden toe. People believe that if they touch it, that all their dreams will come true, and that they will someday come back to Split. But it is not my toe that is important. It is my finger. Look how I lifted it up in the air. It was with this gesture that I showed those hot shots that Croatian, not Latin, should be the language of the church.
Marko Marulic was the father of Croatian literature, and he wrote his famous Judita here. But what I wanted really to know was there a woman called Judita in his life? So I asked him, who was this Judita that you wrote about? He answered some interesting things. Let's listen to that.
Little do people know about my Judita. It was a story from the Bible that I took and used as an allegory. Not only did I want to retell that old story of courage, but I also wanted to transfer it to Split and the Turkish danger my city was faced with. I wanted to give my people some hope. Was there a Judita in my life? Well, some things need not be said in public. Were I to reveal this to you, Mrs. Marulik might not be very happy.
Meet two local guides, Hrvoje and Lea. There are some things that nobody can answer better than local tour guides. So I posed some questions to them, and now you're going to hear what they had to say. Split is famous for unusual customs, one of them being the story of the wedding cake. So Lea, can you please tell us, what is it? What is this story of the wedding cake in Split?
You know that our patron saint is Duye. We love him so much that we cannot imagine getting married without having the wedding cake in the shape of his bell tower. Little is known about the origin of this tradition, but it is definitely considered bad luck if you don't have this cake on your most important day. The story has it that the newly wedded couple has to cut the cake, and in so many parts it breaks, so many children they will have. That's why the knife has to be so sharp, otherwise they could end up with a whole kindergarten.
They call Riva the living room of the local people. Why is that so? Hrvoje, tell us your version of the story.
Not only is Riva our living room, but it is the specific way of thinking. Should you have a problem or a situation that you feel depressed about, what you do is put your sunglasses on and go to Riva. In no way will you feel down after that ritual. That is why our main promenade is always packed with people.
And I have one last question to ask. Well, maybe two. I'm going to ask both of you. Can you tell us what is fiaca and why is Split called Split?
Fiaca. In other countries, people spend years getting into the state of utter numbness of all feelings, in the state of nirvana. Here, in Split, people are born with that. Fiaca is when you think of nothing, do nothing, and just feel totally relaxed.
Why Split called Split? Well, it's not because we split hairs or wish to split up, and in no ways was Split called after banana split. Split was actually named after that yellow, widespread bush, the yellow broom. In some areas, it is considered to be a weed. It seems to be our national weed.
I would like to thank now our friends for sharing their secrets with us, Emperor Diocletian, Bishop Gregory of Nin, Marko Marulic, and two local tour guides, Hrvoje and Leo. They have definitely brought this city a little bit closer to us. In the stories that we have just heard, there were some interesting sentences. Not only did I go to Egypt to bring magnificent columns, but I also brought back sphinxes. Hardly had I started to relax and grow my cabbage when they asked me to return to the throne. Little do people know about my Judita. In no way was Split called after Banana Split. But it is not my toe that is important. Should you have a problem? Were I to reveal this to you, Mrs. Marulic might not be very happy. Had they known which satisfaction it gave to me, they would have never asked me to return to the throne. The yellow parts of these sentences are negative adverbials. We put them at the beginning of the sentence, and they are followed by auxiliary verbs. By doing so, we emphasize these sentences. Let's now look at these sentences. Little do people know about my Judita. Hardly had I started to relax and grow my cabbage when they asked me to return to the throne. In no way was Split called after Banana Split. The yellow parts of these sentences are negative adverbials, and those in red are auxiliary verbs that follow negative adverbials, and then you have the subject. So when we wish to emphasize what we are saying, we put the negative adverbial at the beginning of the sentence. It makes our sentence sound surprising or striking. And by doing so, we want to draw attention to what we are saying. We learned what we do with negative adverbials, but we can also emphasize conditional clauses. We can say, should you have a problem, instead of if you have a problem. In this way, we emphasize the first conditional. Were I to reveal this to you, Mrs. Marulic would not be very happy. This is the way of emphasizing the second conditional. Instead of saying, if I had to reveal this to you, we say, were I to reveal this to you? Had they known which satisfaction it gave to me, they would have never asked me that. This is the third conditional. Here we don't use if, we use inversion, and we omit this word if. Had they known instead of if they had known. So emphasis can also be achieved by inverting conditionals. In this case, if is replaced for the first conditional with should, the second with were to, and the third with inversion. And one more way of putting emphasis that we heard today was, it is not my toe that is important. We can also stress the sentence in this way. So we use it is, was, and later that. In that way, we emphasize different parts of a sentence. We are going now to practice emphasis. The following text is written without emphasis, and your task is to rewrite it in the way that you stress the sentences. This is the text that you need to emphasize. Split is both a beautiful ancient city and it also has some unusual tradition. If I had to mention only one thing, I would definitely single out that unusual game called Pitigi. People don't know much about that game, but to tell the truth, there isn't much to know. The aim of the game is not to let the ball fall into the water. Some special gesture has to be made when you throw yourself in the water, which makes this game so interesting. If it had not been invented, people of Split would be very sad nowadays. So if you ever come to Split, make sure you take part in this game. Now it's your turn. Emphasize this text in the way that it sounds more interesting. And this is the emphasized version. Not only Split a beautiful ancient city, but it also has some unusual tradition. Were I to mention only one thing, I would definitely single out that unusual game called Pitigin. Little do people know about that game, but to tell the truth, there isn't much to know. The aim of the game is not to let the ball fall in the water. It is some special gesture that is made when you throw yourself in the water, which makes this game so interesting. Had it not been invented, people of Split would be very sad nowadays. So, should you ever come to Split, make sure you take part in this game. So the reason why we emphasized this text was to draw attention of the people who are listening to us, to make it more interesting for them, to make them more interested in what we have to say. So as we have seen, summer in the city is maybe not such a bad idea after all. Are you interested in spending your summer holidays in Split or in any other city in the world? Each city, village or hamlet has its charms. They just need to be discovered, and maybe you can help us with that. How can you help us? Well, with this project. You have to introduce your city or any city of your choice by emphasizing something typical or unusual about that place. Make people want to spend their summer holidays there. You should write it in the form of a slideshow and in the form of a dialogue. And also make sure that you emphasize some things so that we would really want to visit that city. This will be your personal great achievement. We have come to the end of this lesson. If you have completed all your tasks, and if you have researched interesting facts about the city of your choice and created a slideshow, you can tick the smiling smiley. If not, don't tick the sad smiley, but go back to the part which you haven't done and do it again. I hope that you enjoyed watching this lesson, and I'm sure that you will enjoy your summer holidays. Have fun and see you in autumn. Bye bye.